Well, friends, last week was Steam Next Fest, a bountiful time where anyone with a computer and an internet connection can feel the intoxicating rush of playing early and often broken game demos from the future of indie and mid-tier hits. And after spending hours guzzling demos like so much Gatorade after a long run, I figured I'd make this video so I could put content on my barely extant YouTube channel. Let's do it! From the stellar vibes of Wizard with a Gun, to the exceptional shooting of Voidborn, to the terrible shooting of Synced, there was something for everyone at this year's Next Fest. But instead of running down each and everything I played, I'd like to focus on a handful of games and talk about why they stuck with me and why I'm looking forward to each of these titles. Okay? I'm glad we can agree on something. If there's one game I came out of Steam Next Fest itching to play the full version of, it's Viewfinder. But if there's another game that I played more than once and could see myself coming back to again and again, it's Battle Shapers. Battle Shapers is an FPS roguelite with a simple premise: shoot robots and then punch robots. In your right hand is a gun, and in your left hand is a big punching glove that also deploys secondary weapons like grenades or this shockwave thingy. In true roguelite fashion, you fight your way through a series of procedurally generated rooms of enemies and traps. What makes Battle Shapers so intriguing is the fact that you have a big punchy arm. That's it. No, just kidding. And can finish off staggered enemies by bashing them into the next hemisphere and knocking back any bot silly enough to get in your way. The guns are flashy, and the bots you're blasting give lots of great feedback when they get blasted, and offer a fairly decent challenge beforehand, too. Also, the art style is appealing in that cartoony Saturday morning robots kind of way. Colorful, semi-child friendly. What am I thinking of? Cubix? Cubix! Dang! Hey, Mr. Octopus, do you remember Cubix? No. El Paso Elsewhere is a new third-person shooter from the folks who brought you An Airport for Aliens Currently Run by Dogs, and with it, they seek to capture the awe and sick vibes of the games by Remedy Entertainment. I think that's what they're called. Maybe Remedy Games? Who's to say? I googled it. I don't know. Known for their introspective lone protagonists taking on impossible odds with a handgun and a philosophy minor, I love Remedy's works and was a tad skeptical that someone would be successful in attempting to replicate that with such a low budget. But then I played it, and I mean, look at it.
On my trip, I picture the pills in the bag with the pills and taking the pills in the bag with... It feels inevitable. A Nickelodeon on a loop. Courtesy of an addict's chemistry. I'm the addict, by the way. Hi.
I could not believe how well this game hits the target. The gunplay is a bit fussy and unreliable, but the voice acting is exceptional. The music and psychedelic visuals hit in this part of my brain, somewhere in the back of my skull where the remains of dreams twirl and influence the waking world. It's got everything you need. Slow motion, werewolves, existential panic, a sad pill-popping ex-cop trying to stop his vampire ex-girlfriend from bringing out the apocalypse in an eldritch ritual performed in an unspeakable endless void beneath a small Texas motel. What else do you need? Like the secret super villain was like an alien slug? I don't know why that would be the thing that would make me remember. So still no. Do you like first-person shooters? Do you wish they had hoverboards? Do you wish they looked like some kind of mashup of Minecraft by way of Red Faction Guerrilla? Not that last one? Well, too bad, because here's Echo Point Nova, a random assortment of 3 words and also a kick-ass new indie shooter where you play as a person who's crash-landed on this weird floating island planet and have no choice but to shoot your way out. Because video games, the first thing I noticed about this game is how good it feels to shoot. It's tight, but also fast and chaotic, riding the line of control at the point of adhesion that few AAA shooters even dare to approach. On top of that already tight shooting, Echo Point Nova keeps adding cool things on top of other cool things. You have a sledgehammer that acts not only as a melee weapon, but as a way of tearing through the geometry of the world. You have a grappling hook that lets you zip around the floating islands like a spider monkey zips around trees, I imagine. You have a hoverboard. The speed and fluidity of moving through spaces and choosing how to engage targets in this game is exceptional, joyous, and dare I say, fun. Plus, the lead character is orange and white, like Cubix! Now I know Cubix is orange and white. Seriously, there's like a big pelican toilet-looking guy, you don't remember that? Finally, a game about shooting stuff. Luna Abyss has a striking, weird, and hard-to-see visual aesthetic, and a lot of perfectly passionate voice acting in a kind of mashup of Metroid Prime and those AA shooters you'd see a trailer for on late-night G4 or Tech TV that you'd never find out if actually released or just faded away like the ghost it seemed to be, haunting your memories for decades to come. It's nostalgic for me, not for how it looks or any specific style it's trying to ape, but for what it is. A single-player campaign shooter with weird enemy designs in a grotesque, unforgiving world. 4 guns tied to the D-pad, and jumping puzzles. In the way a boomer shooter is attempting to replicate the speed and ferocity of 90s shooters, Luna Abyss is capturing the story-heavy, slower, clunky shooters of the late 2000s and early 2010s. It's trafficking in aesthetics and mood instead of complex or intuitive mechanics, but it's not sunk so deeply into visual poetry that it's become a walking simulator either. You do have to shoot things, and dodge energy bullets and stuff. It's the kind of game they really don't make anymore, and I look forward to seeing what comes of it. Sort of how I looked forward to seeing what was next for Cubix in his struggle against the nefarious Dr. K each week on Fox, maybe. Thanks. Possibly the game I came away with the strongest urge to play more of this whole batch. Viewfinder is a first-person puzzle game in the footsteps of Portal, Manifold Garden, and the Talos Principle, and also Superliminal. Very much so, actually. This time around, the hook is that you pick up or take pictures and then place them in the environment to bring whatever the image holds into the real world at full scale. It's a simple idea that instantly set my imagination ablaze with all the possible puzzles and solutions waiting in the full release. What starts out as just a way to clear chasms or find keys quickly fans out into something a lot more intoxicatingly complex as you explore the colorful floating homes, labs, and dungeons of this... Is it the Matrix? Is everyone dead? Did the apocalypse happen? I don't know. But I do know I cannot wait to find out. I might just be a simple country loyal, but I just cannot wait to find out. Like the villain lives in like a giant ice cream cone, or it's a face. One of the two. I do not remember Cubix. But it's Cubix! Last and definitely not least is Stunt Derby. When I heard that beloved video game documentarians NoClip were making a game to better understand the process of development, I was intrigued and never expected this. A racing game in which you pilot one of 3 cars down the twisting roads, jumps, and barns of a bile green pastoral field. It was fine, but then I realized that you can play with up to 100 bots. What followed was a kind of relentless chaos that would shake the heavens as car after car would plunge headfirst into the clanking steel depths of a trenchant automotive stampede. I just reacted, attempting to keep my car at pace and then just level or even upright as I carved my way through an almost eldritch level of vehicular chaos. Kind of like how Cubix and his friends have to carve their way through so many evil robots of the nefarious Dr. K.
Stop talking about the nefarious Dr. K.
I will when you remember Cubix.
I don't know Cubix, and I never will. I am an octopus.
What does that mean? Look, I'm just going to look up some footage of Cubix so that you can finally look at what Cubix looks like.
It's not going to help him.
All right, here we go. Whoa. Cubix kind of looks like shit. Well,
How interesting.
what in the Tham Worthington was that? Well, since all these demos end before something really cool happens and tell you to wait for the full game, I figured I could be all metatextual and stop before the end of the Cubix bit, like a demo would.
Okay.
So, you didn't have an end to the Cubix bit and just decided that this would be an easier punchline than having to be clever? No, I knew where the Cubix bit was going. What was the punchline then? Well, the video ends before it can happen. Yes, but you clearly wrote the skit, so you have some sort of logic, no? You weren't just rambling about Cubix and then assumed you'd come to some kind of funny conclusion by the end and were completely caught off guard by the fact that your mind went blank and became a dark, sunless space. No, of course not. So what's the ending?
Yeah, I gotta admit, I'm also kind of curious about where we were headed.
Oh, yeah, well, you see, what was going to happen was smoke bomb!
I love it. So avant-garde.
Why you wanna treat me this way?